Hello and welcome to Not Your Mother's Midlife Crisis. I'm Chris, and this is my co-host Chris.
Hello, Chris. How are you doing?
I'm get to sit here with you
I
every
know.
Tuesday. It's like my weekly date
I
with my
look forward
friend.
to it. I
Yeah,
look forward to that block on my calendar.
I know.
hmm
Yep,
With my Chris appointment.
I clear my morning.
I know. Have you seen the moon the past couple days?
Yes, it's been stunning.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Yes,
I looked and they've been like sending different things that this is the last full moon of the year of the snake.
fabulous. Because I need that sucker out of here. I
Yes.
really do.
And so what part of this moon cycle is you're supposed to shed all the things that aren't good for you, shed all the things that you've been carrying, that negativity, and let it go during the cycle. Because then coming in for the new lunar new year is the year of the horse. And we're going to ride in to success into the next year. So,
Well,
yeah.
I love that. And speaking of success, we are
hmm
very fortunate today to have Patricia Noel Drain with us. She is an expert. She's written 14 books. She is the host of her own podcast, Stories and Strategies for Entrepreneurs Over 50. She helps women find their next career, find their niche, and she does it through books, her podcast, and her mentoring program.
That's awesome. I know.
Yes.
It's exciting. We're riding in the year of the horse.
Yes.
And because Patricia encourages women to find their niche and turn it into a revenue stream, she has experience in business, education, personal development, and she's the recipient of the most innovative marketing award from Working Women magazine, 100 most influential people in Arizona, and the Woman Business Owner of the Year. So congratulations and welcome.
Wow. Yes. Congrats on all
Mhm.
your
Thank
success,
you.
Patricia. And thank you for joining us here on Not Your Mother's Midlife Crisis. So, welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you. Well, you two do such a wonderful job. And now to see that you dress alike, I mean, I'm thrilled to meet you in person.
Again, a plan.
And we don't even
We're
plan it.
starting to share a
Yeah,
brain, I
I
think.
know. But Patricia, is there anything else we missed in your introduction that you would like our listeners to know about you?
No, I think you did a thorough job. I don't put in my bio about my personal life. I don't know if you guys do, but it is kind of disconcerting, isn't it, to share your whole life?
Yes.
But I do have 8 grandchildren, and I've been married to my husband since I met him at 16. Well, we didn't get married at 16, but that's kind of an amazing story, and I never talk about it because it's so personal. It's so close to my heart. And we have 3 children also. We had identical twin boys and a girl. It's been a wonderful trip. I hear people say it is so hard to be a parent, and I love being a grandparent. I would say yes to both. It's wonderful
That's
being a
wonderful.
parent, and it's wonderful being a grandparent.
So, it is wonderful, but it does have its hard times. Would you agree?
Mhm.
Or are your kids perfect?
No, my kids are perfect. No.
Send the secret.
I
That's
know.
what we need. Our kids are perfect. Who we
They
kidding?
are.
I don't see that as hard times as much as I see that as just growing kind of thing. I see
Mhm.
Right.
see what we're doing at 50 and 60 and 70. I see that as hard times. See that as coming back to who you really were and are. You no longer are a mother. You no longer are, your grandkids are taking care of themselves now. It's a very odd time. So to say that was a hard time, this is a harder time to me.
No, I
Amen.
get it.
Amen.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you've
Uh-huh.
done all the work, but now you're back to
Yeah,
it's me and your husband and
right.
what do we do? What is our purpose? In which
Yes.
we had an episode called What is Our Purpose? I totally get that.
It's a big
Yeah.
challenge to really think like,
What I
am I
want.
where I am now? Like, is that where I saw myself? Is that where I thought I would
Mhm.
be? Is this the person that I want to be? And I think, like
Mhm.
you said, it's all growth because every day
Yeah.
has been
Yes.
growth. This whole process, our podcast
I
process
know.
has been growth. So
Yeah.
yes.
So one thing I had heard you say before is like, what should I be when I grow up? And that really resonated with me. And so you kind of decided what you wanted to be when you grow up. But what inspired you to work with women in their encore career or their queenager days, now?
My gosh. Well, they're you. And so are you experienced now? Yes. Are you knowledgeable now? More knowledgeable than you were in your 20s? Yes. Are you ready to really move forward and do something exciting? Something that really helps the world, but helps you at the same time? And as you reflect back and you see that you did all of these wonderful things, but now there's a big wide world waiting for you to create something that you're very proud of. And did I describe you two?
We're trying.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, we
Yes.
both did we had very rewarding careers where
Mhm.
we actually had a purpose. We wanted to make the world better, in what we did. We were both,
Yes.
in education and public service, so,
Yes.
that was part of it, and the same thing, we're very active in our children's lives and really enjoyed, our time as moms and continue to enjoy our time as
Yes.
moms, but of,
And
like, little
growing.
children. Yes.
We're
Yeah.
growing just as
Mhm.
much as they are.
Yes.
That's wonderful. And I think a lot of people, after a particular, when the children are gone, you know you've raised them, you certainly want to be part of their life for sure. But I do think that sometimes we get to a point where we say, okay, what is it that I want to do to make an impact? And is it okay to still make an income while I make that impact? I mean, that seems to be the problem or the challenge, I should say, with most women when they turn 50 and they all of a sudden, and some 40. I mean, it happened to me when I was in my 40s that I thought, okay, there is something more out there, and I don't know what it is because I, like you, had a very rewarding career and thought I still need to do something though to at least feel good about me and productive about me at the end of the day.
That would be like the magic potion. If you
Mhm.
have that, you
Yes.
know
Yes.
what you love and how to use it to make money. That's a magic recipe right
Mhm.
there, I think.
So then when you talk about then using your talent or your niche to find or create this career, how do you find it? Like what's the steps or a process someone can take?
Yeah. It is probably one of the most difficult things because we have been centered on taking care of everything, the house, the children, the husband, all those years, it's very difficult then to sit down with yourself and say, well, what do you really want now? Well, I don't know. Well, what do you have to share? Well, I don't know. I nothing really. And it's simply not true. But you do have to know the right kinds of questions to really get to ask. And so when I moved to Arizona, I remember I was at that time I was ready to find my niche. And I was a school teacher. And so I'm not going back to school teaching because they simply did not pay enough money so that I could buy bread for the family and
Mhm.
pay for the rent. So I thought, well, what is it then that I'm supposed to do? So I went around interviewing every place I could in Arizona, and nobody wanted me. I mean, I had absolutely no skills. At least in my mind, I didn't. Had been raising these children for 15 years. And see, that's how so many of us feel when we get to this point in life. I don't have anything. I mean, what do I have to offer? Except I knew that I wanted to at least make an income that is satisfying to me, that makes me feel productive. So, what I decided to do after nobody wanted me, I bet I went on 21 interviews and I'd come home and my husband would say, well, did you get an offer? And I'd say, oh, no. No, but I met the best person and we went to lunch together. It was so much fun. Well, that wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. So I decided to do the work, and it's not easy to do the work. But I found these ingredients, and I said to myself, what is it you absolutely need to have in your life, in your career, that would make you feel good? And so, would you like me to share those ingredients? There's 7 of them. Okay. Well, I put them in the what should I be when I grow up now that I'm 40, 50, 60, because I saw so many people that came into my office. I owned an executive recruiting firm eventually in Phoenix, and I saw them in the same dilemma I was in. And so I put it in this book, My 7 Ingredients. I thought maybe it could help somebody else. So, number 1, I really wanted a professional atmosphere. I wanted something that I knew I could get dressed up and go in and help somebody else with what it is that they wanted to do. I wanted flexibility in schedule because I wanted to be home for my children's games or cheerleading or whatever it was. I wanted to see that. Number 3, I wanted unlimited income potential. I don't know if you've ever sat next to somebody that made the same identical amount as you do and they didn't do anything. They didn't do even half of what you did. So that was important to me. Number 4, I really wanted the opportunity to help a person, help them now in this particular case to get a new job, or I wanted to help somebody get to the core of who they are so they could really make a difference. Number 5, I wanted to use my communication skills because I was told I had no other skills other than speaking. Number 6, I wanted an environment that I could walk away and feel like I had been productive for the day. And number 7, and this was the odd part, I wanted the location to be 15 minutes from my home. and that did not work. So when the guy in the recruiting firm hired me, he said, "Why do you think you can do this job?" And I said, "Well, because it has 6 of my 7 ingredients." And he said, "What are you talking about?" He had no clue and he didn't care. I said, "The only thing is I have to travel 40 minutes to get to you, and I don't like that part. But you can't move your office, I'm sure." No, he was sure he couldn't do that. But it's important to know what's important to you. And because we haven't focused on ourselves for so long, you're stepping into a different chapter of life. And you have to do it.
Yeah.
I really like that. Yeah, you look at what are your priorities and
Right.
then to fit it that way.
Yes.
Yeah, I like
It's
that.
yeah, it's like almost like reverse going,
Mhm.
this is what I
Hmm.
want. What job is right
Yes.
for that
That's
for
Yeah.
right.
that model there? So was there anything in your 20s or 30s that stood out to you that like helped you get to where you are right now? Was there like a core moment or just something that you really believed in that got you to where you are now?
Well, that is a great question. So in my case, I was a school teacher, and I didn't know then what I know now, but I can tell you that in my 20s, I would walk out of that classroom holding these little tiny children's hands and say, "I can't believe I got paid to do this today." And they didn't get paid. They didn't know. They're getting on their bicycles and heading off. But it was so wonderful to me that I found this niche. Now, once again, I didn't know the word niche. I didn't know the word entrepreneur. I knew none of that, but I knew that I found something. And the odd thing is, here I am all these years later, and I'm still teaching. I'm just teaching people that got taller at their desks.
Yeah.
That's all.
To have a little gray hair.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
different subjects.
Mm. Wow.
Oh, that's really
That is
interesting.
good.
How about in your 30s? Anything after that, or were you still teaching then?
No, I was not still teaching. That's when I was raising our children.
Okay.
And during that time, once again, not knowing the word entrepreneur, I started a tutoring company because I'm kind of at home now. And I thought, well, at least I can contribute somehow by starting this tutoring company. And I built it for like 5 years, and then I sold it to another teacher. See, that's where my
Yes.
head works like that.
Smart.
And then I thought, well, now with these twins at home, now I really can't get out. And so I thought, well, I'll start a nighttime class and I'll teach interior decorating, interior design. And I did that. Well, the first class I had, my sister showed up and she brought a friend. And I told her, "You're not getting your money back because I need that $27 to prove that I can do this." And so onward I went into the sun. And I then had 41 people on a wait list. And that's when I sold that to another
Wow.
person. But I was an entrepreneur before I knew it. I still didn't
Hmm.
know what that word meant. But that's how an entrepreneur thinks, I think.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that is. And then so your programs and you talk about multiple streams of income. So during menopause, it's hard sometimes to multitask just throughout the day. Like
Just to say
just
multitask.
the challenge of doing multiple, everything that we have going on. So how do you multitask multiple income streams of income and find how menopause could impact that? Like have you experienced that?
Well, I truly am not a multitasker. If you are talking to me, I'm talking directly to you. I'm never doing a dish. I'm never doing anything else because I don't know how.
Okay.
And I hear a lot of people. I mean, I went bowling with a lady one time, and she was a client of mine and paid me a lot of money. And we went bowling every Wednesday, and that's when we did our coaching. It was hysterical to me because I can't do that. But when I was going through menopause, it was really, really trying, and nobody talked about it. You just didn't. I'm so happy people are talking about it. I was talking about it to every person on the corner. Now, they didn't want to hear from me, and they didn't want to hear I was having a hot flash, but I was saying to them, see the span that I'm holding? It's because I have hot flashes all the time. And this little old man would be like, "Okay, honey, go away now." But menopause to me came on very quickly because I had been diagnosed with cancer, and so I was in chemotherapy, and that throws you in menopause. And I was 46, I think, at the time. And when you get thrown into menopause, as the doctor said, it's even worse than just kind of moving your own body into menopause. And I couldn't take anything to help it. And he said, "You have the kind of cancer that you can't take anything to help it." And so it was like having an out-of-body experience. I don't know what it's been like for you, but for me, I couldn't believe that this was me, and I kept looking at her, waiting for her to get better, and she did. She came out of the dark one day. I can't remember the girl's name that sang that. Do you guys know? Coming out of the dark, her name is Estevaz. Maybe I
Gloria
don't know her
Estefan?
name, but she
Is that Gloria
yes,
Estefan?
that's her name.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very good.
Oh, good job.
Yeah.
You
Good.
win a car for that. Yay.
You and my memory
Yes.
loss didn't take over.
So she sang that song and I identified with it because the moment she sang it, I'm like, I'm out of it. You know when you get on the other side of it, and it's a wonderful feeling. But when you're in it, you have to just hope every day and talk to yourself every day and talk to other people every day, because it really helps to talk to other people that are going through it, that maybe have an idea that maybe you could try this, something.
Totally agree.
So I'm
Yeah.
thrilled people are finally talking about that.
Right. And it's crazy that it's taken this long.
It's just
crazy.
amazing.
It's
isn't
crazy
it?
town. Yeah, it shouldn't. And it's one thing that someone had mentioned it to us, like everybody goes through menopause. Not everybody's going to have a child. Not everybody is going to experience a hysterectomy or go through cancer, but every woman lucky enough to live long enough is going to go through menopause.
Mhm.
That's
So
right.
why isn't there more information? Well, that is something that we're really glad to see, hopefully changing and be part of that change. So
Yeah, and we shouldn't be embarrassed to talk about it,
Yeah.
or
right,
be
it's
afraid to
just
Yeah.
share like what's going
Well,
on with
why
this.
do you think it was embarrassing to talk about it? Was it because you were going into a new chapter and you couldn't have children? Why do you think that was for years?
I think part of it was just that you were coming to that age that you just weren't seen anymore, nor did people
well,
care. And I feel like
yes,
you felt so lost and you were so struggling that maybe you really did, since
Yeah.
no one else talked about it, that you really felt like
effective.
isolated and alone. And
Yeah.
you felt really that there was
That's good.
something
And
wrong.
yeah, relationships broke apart. A
Yes.
lot of marriages broke apart during that time because, people just weren't seen as, hey, this is actually a medical thing happening to
Yeah.
my wife's body or my partner's body, and it needs care and recognition. Instead, it was like, yeah, she's crazy. And then that developed, a whole bunch of different other sets of
Mhm.
problems that women were going through. Like now I'm, 45 and single because I don't know who I am, and I think there's so many branches to that it's just
Mhm.
good that we're finally
Mhm.
getting educated about what it really is and how we can help it. So
And because especially I think
Yeah.
too, a big part of it was like the medical community that, and we had experienced it, and I'm sure you did as well. Like, well, there's nothing you can really do. It's just aging,
That's
and,
right.
eat healthy, get more exercise, and so everything, when we all have children, so like, okay, your body's changed when you had children, but there was a reason. And then your bodies are
Mhm.
changing because of menopause, and you have no more control. Like that's what you felt like, a loss of
Mhm.
control.
right.
Yes.
So did you have
Those were
particular
really good
strategies that
answers.
you Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
They
Did you
were
have
good.
particular strategies that you used during menopause to help you, be able to continue and obviously maintain a marriage and your children too?
Once again, I remember about way back there in my 7 ingredients, I said I had to communicate. I would communicate about this menopause I was going through, and no one wanted to hear me, including my doctor. I would go to him and say, "Okay, nobody told me this was going to be this bad." And he said, "You'll be fine. It's really all in your head." Ah, I bet many people have heard that, and there's nothing worse than having a doctor say it's
Mhm.
all in your head, because then you think you're crazy.
Then
Mhm.
there's something
And
wrong
when
with
I
me.
would
Yeah.
That's right. I would talk to other women, and some of them, because they weren't talking about it, would say, "I don't even know what you're talking about. I've never had an issue with that. That was just so nothing for me." Okay. I mean, I thought after a while, maybe that was it. But what I started doing was journaling, and that helped me a lot. And when I say meditating, I say it very lightly, because I'm not the person that folds up your legs and says, but I am the person that knows how to get quiet with myself and really reflect back, and I did a lot of that. I had to do a lot of self-reflection during that time, because when you do think your doctor is saying it's all in your head, other women are not talking to me about it. They think, I don't know why you're carrying around that fan. and I'm talking to people on the street that I don't know about it, and they're not listening to me. It is an unusual time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
It's
Mhm.
it's a hard one for sure.
It is. So, Patricia, we have a segment on our show that's called Letters to Our Younger Self. What would your letter to your younger self be?
Well, I think you're brilliant in having that segment because I was asked that question all those years ago when I had cancer. And this girl said to me, and I don't even remember if I was at the hospital or where, but she said, Patricia, get a picture of your little girl. Do you have a picture of her? And I could see myself in first grade. And she said, I want you to put her on your knee. And I want you to say to her, however you're feeling, because I was sitting there without hair. They overdosed, so I didn't have eyelashes, I didn't have eyebrows, I didn't have fingernails. And they were sorry that they overdosed, but unfortunately, that's what I looked like. And so I was as bad as you could possibly be inside. And so I put this little girl on my knee and I burst out crying. And I said to her, my God, I forgot that you wanna just have fun. You're just a little girl, you wanna have fun, and I took all the fun away from you because I was really at my lowest point, and so I really realized then that when you asked that just now, I'm thinking I wouldn't say that to her anymore. I'd say, "I'm really happy that you were so resilient in life, that you picked yourself up, you moved on, whether no matter what happens, you've gotta do that, and you can either choose to be really angry about it or you can choose to say, that got me to where I am today. That's why I have this need to help other entrepreneurs do what they want to do. Not what I want them to do, but whatever they choose to do. I have a lot of the tools that can help them do that now. And so it's funny when I think about that, when you just asked that, that was the first thing that came to mind was this little girl sitting on my but she's not there. I mean, that little girl now, I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud that what she's doing today.
That's
Love
really
that.
awesome.
Thank
That's really
you.
sweet. Yeah, that is
Yes, that's a
I
oh
love
my,
that.
that's beautiful.
Thank
Wow.
you.
I
We're
love it.
gonna have to try to
Resilience.
compete with that
I
now.
know. That segment may have to go away because we're not going to be able
That's
to
right.
beat that
We're not gonna
one.
be able to top that. I'm sorry. That ended with Patricia.
Well,
Well, kind of along those lines, I am also a former teacher, and um, if I could go back and rewrite my curriculum, wow, there's so many things I would change. Is there anything you would change that you, as a teacher?
My gosh. Oh, I can't tell you how many things. I used to do things in themes like I would in January it was a new day and so we'd have an incubator in the room and chicks were coming out of it and that was so much fun and then when it was Thanksgiving it was the chuck wagons and going back to pioneer days and all that. I would skip all of that to tell them all right, sweetheart. All right, let's find your natural talents you came into the world with, and let's really focus on them. And then when you grow up, maybe you could look for a job or a career or a path of your own where you could get paid for what you already know and what you're already really good at and what you love to do. And then you can start designing your life from that point on. That's how I would teach differently, and, of course, I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know that we all had these special talents and gifts, and if you ask people, especially women in their 50s, if you said, "What is your special gifts? What are your special gifts? What are your special talents?" They would have a hard time saying those would be.
I
They might
agree.
come up with 1 or 2, but to come up with 20 and then decide which one of those would you like to make an income or would it even be possible to make an income? That's a whole different way of thinking about your life and your livelihood, I think.
really
Is
is.
I'm going to be pondering this all day now.
Yes. Uh-huh.
My brain will be
Mhm.
busy for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are some mistakes you think women over 50 make when trying to start their own business? What have you seen?
My gosh. I know that answer because it's the answer I hear almost every single day. They have self-doubt. They don't think they can do it. And then the most important thing, they don't know what they should be doing with that talent and with that gift. And so that's where the questions come in. That's where you have to start asking yourself, I know, but you must know something that I don't know that I would pay you to know. And then you start the question after question. Okay, then you even, I don't know if any of you do this, but you just keep going down into a very slight kind of question. Out of the 5 things you just named that you're really good at, which of those would you want to make an income doing? Well, I'd like to make an income, but I know I never can. Well, let's just talk about those possibilities. And that self-doubt can hold you back for the rest of your life. You just I was talking to a girl yesterday and I felt so bad because she kept saying, "Why am I not doing this? I know I can help so many people." She did reflexology. Okay. And so that is what she does, and that is what she knows. She can help people really understand themselves and really get further ahead in life. And I said, "Well, why aren't you doing this?" And she said, "I don't know. I think I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy. I'm crazy." And she kept using the word crazy. And I said, that's not a good word to be telling yourself because yourself is listening to that. And that's where I feel that there's an art to reframing. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about with reframing, but it's kind of like the moment you say, "I'm just crazy." No, I'm an intelligent, resourceful woman that's going to help all kinds of people in their life. It's my turn now. That's reframing something that even the mind doesn't know the difference, as you know, from right or wrong. And so they're listening to this, "I'm crazy." Well, hey, I'm going to be crazy today then. And I said, "Well, how long have you been crazy?" And she said, "The last 5 years, I've just been out of my mind." She's going through menopause. And I said, "See, there again, I don't want you to say that. I want you to say, I'm strong. I'm moving forward. I love that I'm helping so many people. Does that make you feel good?" And she said, "Oh, yes. The most important thing I can do is help people. That's my whole goal in life." And I said, "How many people have you helped in the last 5 years?" And she said, "That's what I mean. I don't do that. I don't go out." If she did that, she would forget a little bit about the menopause she's going through. I know she would because she'd feel like she was really making a difference out there with
Yes.
this wonderful tool that she has. I mean, I don't know anything about that tool, but she does, and she knows that she can change lives with it. So, yeah, you have to get rid of that self-doubt and say, "What in the world am I waiting for?" Because we don't
Yeah.
know if we have tomorrow. And I know that's all very trite to say, but it's a fact. You don't.
No, yeah,
It's
no,
good
it's true.
advice.
And it is, but it is difficult, and we can relate because to put yourself out there to kind of take that
Yes.
first step, I mean, it takes a lot of guts, and
Yep.
it takes, a lot of courage, and, you kind of expose yourself. So, like
Well, I'm
Good
glad you
job.
said
I know.
that. I'm glad you said that, Chris, because I put myself out there all the time. I have my whole entire life. And I stopped giving even feedback sheets to people because they think they can say anything they want to you. Like, "You should have polished your nails a different color. I don't like the color you have on," or whatever they would say. But I just recently did something and I took maybe 40 hours to put it together so I could really help people. Well, the whole clue is work less, make more, doing what you love. That's really what I believe in. And especially for people that want to now have a home office and go out and help people and do all that. But I want them to still know that they're valuable and so they can make money doing this if you choose to. I don't care if you don't choose to. If you're a philanthropist, I want you to be the very best one. But this girl said to me afterwards, uh, that I thought I really did a good job in teaching, because I'm a teacher, these 3 things. And afterwards, she said, "That was the most self-serving event I've ever seen. I just can't even bear the thought of listening ever again to you." So you're absolutely right. You put yourself out there, and I
Yeah.
promise you, somebody is going to hate you because you did that. And she missed the whole point of what I was trying to do, but that's okay. That was her feedback. That was her input. And so, today, even on this, somebody might say, "Well, that was a very self-serving podcast." They have the right to say whatever they want. I just don't give feedback sheets anymore. I don't
That's
want to know
pretty
I have the
I know
smart.
wrong
it
color
is.
nail.
Honestly,
And
there's
Patricia,
Yeah,
always going to be a hater.
I
There's
know.
always
And it
going
was
to be.
interesting
yeah,
because my letter to my younger self in last episode was to not tie someone else's like
Yeah.
feelings, moods, or anything to your self-worth. So, I mean, that's
that's
exactly what you
wonderful.
just said. Like that
Yes.
was the way she felt. Okay, you feel that way. It has nothing to do.
Right. That's her feelings. You can't
Yes.
control that.
Hmm.
So just move on. Right. You
And
can.
guess what I'm still focused on? Right. I'm still focused on
Mhm.
her negativity
Yeah.
rather than the other people that were on
Mhm.
that came in and said wonderful things. We just do that to ourselves. And so
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
love what you said, Chris, about saying that to yourself because you've got to get very clear that it's not about what others think of you, it's what you think of you. And so
Yes.
you
Right.
have to go on to do what you're supposed to be doing with your life.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to do that. So, can you tell us a little bit more about your gift is your niche? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I had to do that, and it's because in my office I would interview these people. I owned a recruiting staffing firm in Phoenix for years, and I would watch one person after another come in, hang their head, and say, I don't have a college degree. I don't care. If
Oh,
you don't
wow.
have a college degree, you have all these wonderful talents and gifts for heaven's sake. Look at 20 years of doing whatever. And then another person would come in and say, Patricia, I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't ask for more money, but I kind of need more money. And I'm like, wow, what has happened to us? So when that happened, and I wrote the book, what should I be when I grow up now that I'm 40, 50, 60, I realized that it needed one more thing because I watched the people read the book, kind of get started on what it was that they were all about. But your gift is your niche is really pulling out all the gifts, the talents that you have and focusing on that. But it's probably the only personality test, because there's so many of them out there today that really helps you look at, can I make an income with that? Is that something I can go into a job interview and say, I'm very good at computer skills or whatever, and I can ask for the money that I think I'm worth, the value that I have. Very few people go in and ask for their value. And so I would teach them, I would say, say that you're interviewing for jobs anywhere from 100 to 120,000, whatever your bracket is, and then hopefully negotiate for yourself. But I'm just saying, many people can't do that. It's almost beyond their capacity because the word that is the most, mm, I don't know whether to call it. You can't ever talk about this word as money. And when they came into my office, I had to ask every single person, how much money do you make? I had to because that's how we could place them. And so it was always okay then. Can you imagine turning to your sister or your brother-in-law and saying, how much money do you make? I've never known. And I kind of like to know. They would freak out. It's just taboo to say. So I think when it comes to your gift as your niche, it really digs into the talents and the gifts, but it also comes into okay, what are the possibilities of making an income with this, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're going to look for a job.
Yeah,
Right.
and I think a good point that you made too, and maybe you've seen that, is I really think women undersell themselves and don't
Always.
really push for their value or what they're worth.
Always,
And they'll and
always.
we'll settle.
Yeah.
I feel like hopefully that's changing with this next generation. That that
I
we've
think
taught them.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think some
we've
of
taught
the
them better. So yeah.
I can only speak for my daughters, and they're definitely not afraid to ask their
Yes,
bosses
and
or
not to
kind of
settle.
defend themselves or, you know,
That's wonderful.
Hmm.
be ambitious in what they seek at their employment.
Good job, Mom.
Hey, oh
Yeah.
my God, I got something right. Every so often you
Yeah.
get something right, you know? They don't listen though. They'll never know I got it
Yeah.
right.
No,
Oh
but
my gosh.
why do you think that they have that in them? Was that projected by you and your husband, or is that just them, who they are?
You know what? We always wanted to raise strong, independent women, and that was the goal. We're like,
Hmm.
I want to be your friend
It's awesome.
someday, but right now my job is to teach you everything I can and make sure that you are a strong, independent woman and that
Hmm.
you can always take care of yourself in any situation, not just financially.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
that's what we
Mhm.
did. Anyway,
So, Patricia, is there anything else you would like our listeners to know that we may have missed?
Well, let's see. This might seem like I'm trying to get you to like me. I don't know. However,
we already do.
you are two you are examples of what women should be at this time of life. You are the examples. You are the people that have
That's
to
Oh,
really
step
sweet.
forward and be the role models. Well, it's the truth. I mean, I just listening to you and listening to a lot of your podcasts, I see that and I hear that through you too. You're the
So,
natural interviewers, the natural conversationalists, the natural getting to the point of what it is we're trying to get through as women together and supporting each other. So I guess you both win a car.
hey,
Yay!
what kind? No kidding.
Well, here's the funny thing. You know, when Oprah did that on her show and was giving cars away, I thought it was the cutest thing and I loved it. And so when I would go out and do speaking engagements, I would always tell people that they won a car. Oh, you win a car and you win a car. And I always had little tiny box cars with me and I would give them out to the audience. And it was funny. It was fun and funny.
But you showed them that they were valuable.
Yes.
You know, in your own way, you showed them that they were valuable, and that they're probably very proud of that car. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh,
Thanks,
they still
Patricia.
have that car. Yeah, many
I
of them.
believe it.
But seriously, girls, I'm not just saying that. I'm saying that you are the epitome. You are the role players. You are the people that have to step up and show other women that we can do this and we can do it together.
Yeah, together is
Thank
the
you.
big word.
Together, yeah.
That's the key.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah.
definitely a sisterhood.
You'll make me cry.
Mhm.
Super, very sweet thing to say. So thank you very much. And, you know, still as women, we're not good at taking compliments, but we appreciate it. And we are so grateful for your expertise that you shared it with not only us, but our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those 7 steps that I never really thought that they actually mattered. They were just like mushed up feelings inside me that weren't organized. And now you can organize them and prioritize and figure out how it is that you're going to make your dream of what it is you want to do come true. And it's very valuable. And I definitely have a new outlook on how to do that.
Yes, this is wonderful. It was
Good.
it was just great, like spending the time with you and listening to your experiences and your advice. So I sincerely appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank
we do
you.
very
Thank
much.
you for having me.
Yeah. Can you tell us how your website, how
Social
people
media,
can take your course?
Okay. So it's patriciadrain.com. DRAIN is my website. And then Your Gift is Your Niche, NICHE, or niche. I just did it because it rhymes. Your Gift is Your Niche.com. And you can read all about it and see if it's the right fit for you. Because I finally was asked enough times, Patricia, can you make this a DIY, a do-it-yourself? Because I wanted to do it in 6 days. And some people wanted to do it in 6 hours. It's 6 hours long. But some people could only do it in 6 months because they had so many other things to do in their life. So yourgiftisyourniche.com is also a site for you if this is of interest to you. Thank you for asking.
Absolutely. And we're going to be adding that to our affiliate information that we have in our show notes, along with A Living Balance and the Pelvic Floor Store and underoutfit.com.
Yes. Remember to share, like, download, and go to our merchandise store, our awesome merch. It's all going to be in the show notes.
Yes, you can find everything in the show notes, and you can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And next week, we have on Nicole Ryan from the Morning Mashup on Hits One Radio, Sirius XM. Super excited about that. She has the podcast, Have Kids, They Said. It'd be fun, they said. My kids are grown. I still listen to this podcast. All of our friends that have young kids, Betsy, Christina, Katie, we're talking to you. If you're not already listening to Have Kids, They Said, it'd be fun, they said. It's hilarious. It will really give you a new perspective on parenting and just let you lighten it up a little bit.
Yes.
And then she's also the host of Satisfying as well. We are super excited to have Nicole Ryan on next week. And until next week, where we'll be talking to her and learning how to support one another still.
Yes. We appreciate it.
And look forward to women's health and education.
Yes. I know you took my line.
So sorry. I did that. That happened. I'm also excited about. We got Patricia here. We got Nicole coming.
Oh, I'm a super fan.
I mean, do you want me to try again?
No,
Or
that's okay.
No, we're good.
I like it.
Okay. We get to mix it up every so often, you know? So until next week.
Okay.
See you later.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.